Okay, so welcome everybody. And last week we had an exciting discussion about different ways people can grow their business. Obviously, longevity is kind of a word of mouth type of business. It builds on relationships, but you can build relationships in a lot of ways. And many people today are growing on the internet, but it can be overwhelming for people who get started. And Melissa Brice has done a fantastic job increasing her online presence in the last couple of years and has offered to share some of that expertise with us. So, Melissa, I'll turn it over to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to share some ideas and some strategies. These are not in depth, so it's not like a step-by-step instruction. If we want to do something a little more hands-on-ish or something like that, that's definitely something we could do in the future. But right now I wanted to share sort of just some thoughts about what we can do with all the content that's been created, because I have kind of took a step back and, in talking to Mary, and there's a ton of resources and information out there that we could leverage. We don't have to do everything in a vacuum and on our own. So yes, Mary's bringing up the presentation. Thank you. So I just called it Strategies for Building the Extension Team Brand and Your Personal Brand Online. So you can take this and apply it, in any fashion. You can apply it to your personal business. You could apply it to your longevity business. But really what we're going to talk about is how we can use it to build our network of longevity. Oh, awesome. Okay.
Right.
So
and just keep in mind, this is one of many ways. Okay. We're not saying anybody's got to build online, but I think what we're trying to get to with these meetings is looking at ways that we can pool efforts and leverage one another. So let's use some of the resources that are at our disposal, and being able to see how to use them wisely within your business takes learning what resources are there. So, Melissa, I gave you control of the mouse if you want to move it from there.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, that's it. We don't have to build online, but even if you're not interested in building online, you can help other members of the team by engaging with the
See, it looks like you went silent.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it go. Remote control. What happened?
Okay, so you should be able to go over to.
There we go. All right, I think I've got it now, maybe.
Bingo.
Okay. We're moving a little slow, but okay. So I've got these random pieces of wisdom because they randomly came across my path today, and they applied. So we can only see a short distance ahead, but we can see plenty that needs to be done. So, Mary and I talk a lot, and there's a ton to do or that could be done. And we see it, and it can be very overwhelming, like what Mary said. So, it can make it hard to see the forest through the trees. So I wanted to just try and sort of simplify a little bit about how we can easily leverage each other's efforts. So everyone on this team now and, presumably in the future is doing something that could contribute to the team. Hey, where are we going? Let's go back. What happened here?
Let's see.
Can you take control back and just go to the screen before this?
The previous screen?
Previous slide, yeah.
There you go.
All right. So everyone's doing something that could contribute to the team, whether it's having a conversation with someone that you know, whether it's selling products, whether it's helping people design something, whether it's writing content, making social media posts. Everyone's doing something. Glenn's farming. I mean, he's doing something that can contribute to this team. One person, the idea of this network marketing business is that one person doesn't have to do it all. And so that's what we're working on, right? Is developing this team mentality. And if everyone will commit to doing a little, then together a lot gets done. And that's what we're trying to achieve. So what type of things are being done is blogs, ebooks, social media posts, articles, websites, online groups. You know, I see Glenn post a lot of photos and videos of him out on the farm, and those are things we can all use. Can we go to the next slide?
Yeah, and let me just kind of jump in there and point out, it doesn't, even those of you who are not doing online stuff are still out there talking to people, having conversations with people. And so just knowing what's out there and what's available online gives you tools that you can share with these people to open conversations and confirm and validate what you're presenting.
I agree. So social media, the strategy is simple. It's love, comment, and share. And I'll explain sort of why I say that. But based on my data, I would prioritize social media outlets for most of us in this fashion. Facebook being number one. I get, both for Reclaim and Longevity, probably 75% of my business comes from Facebook. Instagram, I'm starting to do more with, and LinkedIn, I'm barely dabbling. I think there's a great bunch of potential with Instagram, with LinkedIn, specifically in terms of reaching other businesses, but I've not, it's its own art and I don't know it. Instagram, I won't even give you tips on, but Facebook, I could tell you a lot about. And for each of us, our audience is going to look a little different. But I'll tell you from my perspective, on Facebook, I looked today at the analytics, and let me pull this up right here. My target sort of market that I reach on Facebook, my peak fans, followers, reach, and engagement is 35 to 44 years old. And, but 45 to 65 steps up in engagement as well. So really my target market is 35 to 65 plus is who I'm reaching on Facebook for the most part, with the biggest being right there, 35 to 45. Instagram, my following is younger. And so I think that's an important differentiation. So depending on who you are and who you're trying to reach. My Instagram audience is 25 to 34 primarily. And in both cases, it's dominated at least 75% by women. So, and statistics say that 75 or 70% of women are responsible for making 70% of the healthcare decisions for the entire family. So the women drive healthcare, if healthcare is the area that you're focused on, for the entire family. So really, when we're looking at social media, we really should be looking at women, and I would suggest that based on our price point, that 35 up in terms of financial stability and that kind of thing is going to be bulk of our business. Increasing visibility and engagement. So if we create all this content and nobody sees it, it doesn't matter. It's not getting out. And the way that we leverage easily everyone is loving versus liking. So liking a post, a social media post, gives it some engagement and helps boost it in the logarithms that are running in the background. But loving it or laughing, making the laughy face or making the sad face or the mad face actually gives it more boost than just a like. The other thing you can do to engage is to add a valuable comment. So, you know, you're kind of validating one another, right? In the sense of, hey, I take my selenium every day and my heart is happy, whatever it is. And the third thing is sharing it. But again, sharing it without adding your own statement to it has less of an impact than sharing it and saying, hey, check out my friend's business. They have a great resource for you, whatever. So that will give it an even better boost. So love, comment, and share. Costs you nothing, takes no time. If you happen to be scrolling through Facebook anyways, it's something that any of us can do very simply. If you're creating content and when you're sharing stuff and all that, the most important tip I could say is to be yourself. And this is something that I'm still working on today, and that's finding my voice publicly. Research shows that people don't want refined, movie-looking content. It is not what they want. They prefer to see your flaws and to just hear you speak from your heart. 92% of people weigh the transparency and trustworthiness of the person or business before making a purchasing decision. You're selling yourself. You're selling yourself as an expert. You are building rapport and trust with the people who watch you. I've got people who said they've been watching me for a year and they finally came in my door to ask for my help when shit hit the fan. But it's because over time they've seen a consistency or a pattern that has allowed them to build trust and rapport with me, and I didn't even know it. So it is very much shown. People are tired of being sold to. They're tired of hearing the same canned things. If you try to hide your authentic self, you will lose business. So just be transparent and honest. I'm really working at starting to develop online content, lives, those kinds of things where I'm going to really start putting myself out there and explaining some of the struggles in trying to do this thing called life and help others in the way, in the process, right? So, but the hardest part of that is being vulnerable publicly and not having everything perfect. I'm a total control freak in some senses. I'm learning to let go of those things and just move. And also super important is don't do any sales tactic, anything that doesn't feel authentic to you. So if you hate video, don't do video. Write and then share your blog posts, those kinds of things. Find what feels good to you and focus on that area. You can still, if I do video and you write and we share each other's content, we're getting mixed media content with only having to do our part that we feel good about. So that's my 2 cents on that one. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Mary?
Just that this is a confusing game for beginners because it sounds like on one hand we're saying share, like everybody's saying, post it. And then you say be yourself. And we each have audiences that we've selected that have a certain thing they expect. And so I think you've got to find the balancing point between those things. You really want to, for us to grow as a team, we really have to give each other that leg up, lock arms and pull each other's businesses, give each other that visibility and boost. But at the same time, you have to share what's authentically you on your groups. And so it's going to be a game of struggling and watching and learning. But I think what I really appreciate with you coming out and sharing this presentation, Melissa, is that you lay it out there and then people can take what they need and what they want to use. Because you need to find your voice. You need to express something that's going to attract not just everybody, but the people that you're most able to serve.
Yeah.
So are we ready to move forward? I forgot I was in control of the slide here.
No, that's perfect. So,
So
chime in, go for it. Go ahead.
are you on the vulnerability part? It's a lot of work that I've been doing, and so that's where the resource of a group is much better than what one individual could come up with, because there's books. I've read the books; they're really good, and they'll reframe everything for you, and you'll be able to be that authentic, vulnerable person. And it is key. It is key. But if that drives you nuts, do something that you're comfortable with. Very good point. Do something else.
And you can, as you grow, you might not be comfortable with video today, but over time you might reach that point where you are, delve into new things. That's kind of where I'm at, is like, I'm at a place where I'm comfortable with what I've done, but it's time for me to do more and be more of a voice. That I feel like that's what I'm being called to do as Melissa Marie. And so it's time to begin to step out of my comfort zone. And it's great to have a team that you can rely on to give you honest feedback. I mean, I think all of us are willing to help one another practice or look over things and just even have a cheering squad in your corner. Not everybody has. You're not in this alone, and that's an important piece, Glenn. I agree.
And Melissa, you said a mouthful with feedback, because when I look at the hesitancy I have to share, a lot of times it's because I know that I miss a lot of the obvious things. I'm a horrible proofreader. I see what I meant to write. I don't see what I actually wrote. And I've had many business leaders tell me, oh, don't worry so much about it. You're being perfectionist. Don't worry about what's out there. But just having somebody else look and say, oh, that looks good, erases so much fear or so much anxiety. And having another set of eyes on your material is something that I think we can do as a team to some extent.
Absolutely.
That's where we can grow faster and stronger as a team, is by being willing to kind of review and give honest opinions on things people post. And if somebody posts something on Facebook and you think, whoa, that came out wrong, send a private message. Say, hey, I wonder if this would sound better like such. But help us grow help us grow to where we're presenting ourselves well. And if it's minor, well, don't make a big deal out of something that's not there.
Right, but so Courtney posted something the other day, and I can't tell you what the word was off the top of my head, but it was an obvious.
Yeah, you think this will come off like air show?
But she posted an ad of some sort, and it was big bold letters, a big typo, and so I sent her a private message right away, and I was like, hey, by the way, great post, FYI, typo, and put the right spelling. And so she was able to jump on it and fix it real quick because it was kind of glaring. But yeah, like you said, in the normal text of a post, I said TH instead of the. Well, okay, it's probably not worth it, but it is very helpful to have feedback, to have someone review your work. Even this presentation, I threw it together during my lunch break today. I didn't get to fire it off to Mary until the end of my day, but she was able to add content to it that was going to enhance it in a short amount of time. And so together, two heads are better than one. And I think that's a great example of it.
Yeah, I know for myself personally, the tension just drains when somebody else has looked at my work and said, oh, that looks good, or why don't you fix this, or, then I'm more confident putting it out there.
And
so
yeah, that's huge.
And I think all of us are willing to do that to some extent, because it helps me grow if I see Melissa's content. It's a good process.
Absolutely.
Shall we move on?
And so this slide, real quick, is just, if you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be. And that, for me, was just about that willingness to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. And we're not normal. What is normal? That's not a real thing. That's not a real standard by which to measure. But we all feel this need to fit in, right? And so being willing to challenge that and step outside the box, you'll find your greatness. That's all I had to say there.
Right. So I love that you put this up.
Perfect example where you added a bunch of value. Go ahead.
Just when I saw the presentation, I was relieved to see, I thought this is perfect. Let's show people how many options we have as a team, just within our team for sharing content.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is great. And I also want to make this presentation available because for me, one of the struggles I've had is I don't have a consolidated list of all these people's websites. And so it reminded me that if I have that issue, everyone else probably does too. So, with these clickable links, I'll probably go through and save them to my favorites folder for longevity. And so when I'm looking for content, I can remember to go look there first to see what's new. And all of us have different stuff on our websites, and they're constantly a work in progress, of course. But something I wanted to pitch, which was the last bullet point down there, is I'm willing to make a commitment to anyone who's willing to make the same commitment to me to put cross links on my website. So for example, I am working on a resources page for the Reclaim Wellness website. On that, then I would have a link to our extension team with a little blurb about what that is, who's there. I could put Zia Health Options. I could put End of Fight Enterprises. So have your logo, So those are some things I would like to do, because one thing I wanted to point out is when we do those things, when we have cross links, when people search Reclaim Wellness, they're also going to boost your rankings because Reclaim Wellness is on your website. So this is part of that search engine optimization type stuff. And so if someone goes to the Covenant Pathways website and Covenant Pathways has Reclaim Wellness website link on it, then it also boosts my ranking long term. So right, every little click isn't going to make a difference, but over time, it continues to further boost one another, just from organic and different searches and different ways of people accessing each of these sites boost one another. So it's a way we can continue to network and support one another that requires no more effort than adding the links to each other's sites. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Excellent. And since you mentioned that, you weren't aware of a lot of these websites, and I'm sure you're not alone. First of all, I hope I didn't miss anybody. We threw this together right before the meeting. But I think most of you are familiar with our extension team. These are the group of us within the Longevity Downline that chose to brand ourselves as the extension team that's working for better food, better health, better lifestyles. Zia Health Options is Sandy Stein's website. So she helps health-related businesses get their startup paperwork done. MK Design House is Monica Kekueva, and she does branding and online marketing and website development for people. Yours truly is End of Fight Enterprises. Melissa Brice is Reclaim Wellness. Clear, Calm, and Clean is Libby Hamilton. Covenant Pathways is actually a member who has joined us. They're looking at a distributorship, haven't decided if it fits yet. But they are doing some phenomenal regenerative farming work in the northwest part of the state. And they've got 3 nations involved in their work. And it's just very exciting to see the diversity on their farm. Work in Beauty is a nonprofit that's doing a lot of regenerative ag. They are not part of our Longevity Downline, but they are doing some experiments evaluating the blooming minerals on soil, and I think we really share a common mission in terms of making better food available to the community. Glenn, I'm cringing here because I started to put your website on here, and then I saw that you have both your website and your Facebook, and I was trying to decide which one, and I think the phone rang and I never got it on here. So where would you like people, what content would you like people to be sharing?
Let's direct them to Facebook for right now. That's the one I'm keeping up with. Okay.
So where do they find you on Facebook?
Schultz Family Farms.
Perfect. So like, share. Glenn posts almost daily. And
yeah. So I need to go onto your page, Glenn, and some other little tips that is notifications. So I have so many stinking people on my thing, which is awesome, except for I miss so much stuff. And you can change your notification settings to see all. So that's something I will probably do so I can use your stuff more often.
Well, yeah, and I'm not a real pro at that. There's lots of things that I know I could be doing with that page that I'm not. And so, yeah, getting in with some other people who've done it would be good to know how to work those better. I get notifications too, and it's bewildering to me why I'm getting them. It's just I don't know who it is. That's the big deal. My regular Facebook page, their name and picture pops up, and that's who that is.
Yeah.
And my community page. So and I'm not capturing that. So I liked when you gave all those figures. You knew what was happening. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, to do some more on that, because I think it would help more people and you guys made me do some things today that I hadn't done. Mary identified, we're running out of time. I didn't realize we're on a time limit. So real quick, this page is just some popular outside resources that I'm kind of a fan of. So if you're looking, and then,
oh my bad.
Oh, you're good. The Biggest Little Farm and Footprint are 2 videos. They also have streaming rights for groups and social media and press kits and things you can use. It's not a direct correlation to us, but it's a correlation to the mission sort of regenerative agriculture and health and food security and things like that. So I really enjoyed them.
Melissa, we have a video interview that Glenn arranged from about 1.5 years ago with Josh Tickell, who wrote the book Kiss the Ground and is involved in all this. So that might be some content you want to share.
Awesome. I'd love to follow that.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the link.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. The Bionutrient Food Association is doing a conference right now that is similar to what we're planning for January, but it's in person. And then there's some health people that I think are worth a darn. Besides Dr. Wallach, of course, by the way, just for the record.
Right, we definitely need Wallach's radio show is another good one to have here. And again, Glenn has some videos that he arranged. We did some video interviews with Dan Kittredge from the Bionutrient Food Association and with
cool.
some of the other Bionutrient Food Associations. So,
yeah, we got Dan and Josh, and even Carrie McGillum, right. Is it?
Yeah, well, she wasn't with Bionutrient Food Association, but she's got a great book on glyphosate.
Awesome.
Yeah, whitewash.
Ooh. So real quick, newsletters and blogs drive traffic. My website says so. So if you do not currently have a mailing, if you have a mailing list, you should use it. Start a newsletter once a month. even if it has just a little bit of stuff. But try it out and see the difference. If you don't or you don't want to, we do both Edify and Reclaim, and I'm happy to share your content with followers. It benefits me because it helps give me content for newsletters, and it benefits you because it drives traffic. We'll also share it with your contacts or people you know. So go ahead, Mary.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Just keep moving. So
And I
don't
think
feel
that's the
overwhelmed.
important thing. When I look back at probably the biggest mistake I've made in my business to date is that I keep changing directions, starting over, thinking what I'm doing isn't working. And sometimes you've just got to stick with it a little bit longer.
Yep, I agree.
So
Okay,
this
real
is
quick.
exciting.
Yeah.
Melissa and David and I have been working on a web conference for January, so we're asking you to save the dates on this. This is the Agri-Health Culture Conference, and we've got a lineup of speakers that is going to present on both regenerative agriculture topics and regenerative health topics. So we'll have them back to back each night. This isn't, it's a virtual conference, so you'll be able to tune in at your convenience. If you tune in live, there's benefits in terms of being able to actually ask these people questions, and we've got some remarkable speakers. Melissa, do you want to say more on that?
No, I wanted to put up there. So the Eventbrite link, all this is in draft form still, so I just want everyone to know. We'll let you know when it's final and to make that big push, but if you wanted to take a peek now and see what's happening, those are the links. Brian did make a few updates to the draft website today, and so we're working on getting that done.
Okay, and the speakers list is just phenomenal. I am so thrilled that we've been able to get the speakers that are coming to this that we have. So James Johnson is a 3,000 acre specialty crop farmer in Luna County who is transitioning from very standard conventional agriculture to a much more regenerative practice. He's going to talk about the learning curve, and it's a really tricky balancing act to move 3,000 acres to an organic system, and he's doing it. And he'll talk about why and what he's learned along the way, because it's so important for people to understand the risks involved and also understand what the rewards are at the end. Kevin Branham, we talked to a lot of people about cover cropping, and he's been doing this. He's got a number of mixes available and strategies for people to succeed. James Skeet is from Covenant Pathways and doing this amazing job in the northwest corner of the state with regenerative farming. Bob Perry has been using the Albrecht method. He runs a soil testing lab and has basically been tuned into the whole microbe and mineral thing for probably his whole life. Dan Pavich uses biostimulants. He'll talk about how you find a good one. Anna Dyson is a nutritional therapist who's going to talk about digestion, and most of our health centers around the digestive tract. Misty Lynn is going to talk almost parallel to James Johnson about transitioning off medications. And Melissa, of course, gives us the big picture, health from the soil to the soul. And we are so close to the end. I'm going to race through there, but we'll have master gardeners talking about home gardening. Ben Fuchs is going to talk to us about mineral nutrition, and I'll give you some insights on the human microbiome. So mark your calendars. Let's get this down. We are almost, I'm going to stop the recording here, and we'll have it available online.
Mhm.